Jill, let's talk a little bit about last year's start compared to this year's start. Last year, you guys suffered through 4 losses and a tie before you finally got your first win. But this year, you guys got off to a torrid start, 4-0-1, before finally suffering your first loss yesterday against Harvard. What do you think has been the difference between last year and this year?
I think this year we have a team full of, not star individual players. It's a lot of, team cohesiveness on and off the field. The locker room's much better than last year. We don't have any problems in the locker room. Last year we had a few. And it just is converting onto the field, and you know it when it clicks, and it has clicked for us. Dave has instilled a whole new type of playing style, and we're all on board with it. No one's off the boat. And I think everyone just is working for each other 100%, and we just want to see everyone do really well.
Well, a lot of the success that has come this year for the team has been because of your own personal play. I know you have 3 shutout victories on the year already, plus the shutout in the NJIT tie. So that's very impressive stuff. What can you say is attributed to your success so far this year?
I have a long-standing knee injury, so over the past 9 months, I haven't played in any games. I shut myself down after December of last year after we lost, and I've just weightlifted, I've ran, I've gotten stronger, done a lot of handling, especially with goalkeeping. You gotta be able to handle the ball really well, and that's the foundation of every goalkeeper. So just doing a lot of technical work, not playing in as many games, but coming into a 5th year, it's a whole new experience. The past 4 years you kind of take for granted a little bit, and I'm lucky I get a 5th year back, and I'm just trying to give it my all, trying to have a whole new sense of confidence within myself, and it seems to be showing through. My team has a lot of faith in me, and no one's negative towards me. If I make a mistake, everyone's picking each other up, and I think that's really contributing a lot to my success.
So I mentioned the loss against Harvard yesterday, and that's your first setback of the year. How do you guys go about rebounding from that and getting back on track?
Immediately after we lost, our coaches got us together, our captain Beck got us together, and we're not really viewing it as much of a setback. It's just, sometimes you just need to get a loss out of the way. We don't really want to go into season play, NEC season play, undefeated, because then we just have a huge target on our back. Well,
you mentioned the NEC play that is coming up. You have about a week until that starts. Where do you see your team fitting in among the rest of the conference?
In preseason, we were ranked 6th. So at first we were like, oh, come on, we can't be ranked 6th. What is this? But, the NEC is a type of conference where on any given day, anyone can beat anyone else. It's a lot of equal play. A lot of teams are really dirty, a lot of kick and run, which isn't our favorite. But there's, 3 or 4 teams that we like to contend with, the top 4 being Monmouth, LIU, Central, those types of teams that like to get the ball on the ground and play. So I really think that we'll be able to, make a good stride against all 4 of those teams.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of confidence,
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about you before we wrap things up here. It's often said that in different sports, goalies have a little bit of a different mindset than some of the other players on teams. Sometimes they have weird rituals or routines that they follow. Yeah. Do you have any?
Personally, I'm not your typical goalkeeper. I really like to not think about the game before I head out there. I just got a Kindle for my birthday. So I bring that with me. I read about 15 minutes before we actually head out onto the field. I have a bundle of nerves. A lot of people don't know that about me, but it's always been, my kind of thing. My dad's always called me the toughest wimp he's ever heard of. So, nothing really too drastic. I bless myself before I step on the field. I pray during the Star-Spangled Banner. But other than that, once I step on the field, I'm a totally different person than I am off the field. I scream, I yell, I do whatever I need to do to get the ball out. But, off the field, I'm the exact opposite. So, just before, I just try to not think about it so I don't wig myself out.
Well, whatever you're doing so far, so good. I would keep up the great work. So thank you for your time, Jill.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
From the Quinnipiac soccer field, I'm Mark Spillane, Sports Paws.